Well, we know between the excessive heat and the lack of rain, this summer has been especially tough on Houston area gardens.
It sure has. And if your plants and trees are showing signs of stress and you don't know what to do about it, Jen McDonald, co-owner of Garden Girls, is here with tips to help your garden survive the drought. Jen, it's so great to see you. This is kind of a sad topic. Yesterday I was driving home. So many trees in the neighborhood are dead, and a smaller plant is one thing. A tree is much more difficult to replace, and it's also a huge investment, right?
Yes, you're right. So I'm so glad you started with that, because trees really are our top priority right now. When you think about watering, we're all on restrictions, so we're going to water right, and we need to start with our trees. They're the highest dollar investment, and they mean the most to the environment.
Okay, that makes sense.
So the first thing I want to show you is this is actually leaf scorch, and you can see the brown edges here. And these leaves are really suffering. This is survival mode for trees.
Okay.
So when you water your trees, the first thing that you're going to want to do is use your garden hose. Okay. We're not going to do a rotary sprinkler or a spray head. You really need to use your watering hose on a little bit stronger than a trickle.
Okay.
And you're going to do it at the base of the trunk, but you're also going to want to look at the canopy of the tree. Determine how big that canopy is, and you're going to take it out. Like if you look at the canopy, you're going to take that watering hose out almost to the edge of the canopy of the tree.
So if your tree is 6 feet wide, you go straight down from the edge of those branches. Okay. That's the perimeter of the canopy.
Because that's where your roots are they're growing, and they need the water the most.
Okay.
So start there and then work your way inward.
Is one of these worse than the other? Is scorch? So you said this one's suffering, this one's scorch. I mean, is one worse than the other? Or they're both bad signs? You just have to get in there and take care of make the tree the priority.
Make the tree the priority 100%. Trees and large shrubs. That should be your priority. Then gardens, and then lawns.
One more quick question. So how do you know when the tree has had enough to drink? And again, not the hose at the base of the trunk. Pull it out to the canopy. Should you be moving it around the perimeter of that canopy?
You should, but any water is better than no water. Okay. So if you really can just set your hose out in the evening or in the early morning, that's the best time to do it.
To avoid evaporation.
Yes, don't do it in the middle of the day. It's not going to help.
Right.
Even if you pull it away from the trunk a little bit and you can give it 30 minutes to 45 minutes to an hour of water, that's better than nothing. So we want to slow, deep water for those trees.
Now, what about using mulch to kind of circumvent some of the heat action that's going? Is that useful? I've heard that.
Yes, it absolutely is. And if you look at this, this is from an Eagleston holly tree.
Okay.
This tree is going to be okay. It's not going to die because we still see green growth and we still see healthy stems. So mulch is very helpful. Keep it away from the trunk itself, but you can make like a berm, and then that's also going to help when you water, because it'll hold the water inside close to the trunk, and it's going to encourage the water to go deep down into the roots.
Got it. A berm is just that little barrier of soil or mulch around the edge.
That was literally my next question. I was like, okay, what's a berm?
It's just a little dam. Oh, okay, but what, Jen, about trees where the leaves are very, very brown and it looks dead? People might be inclined to start trimming or pruning. Right now, we are still in the thick of the heat. Hopefully things will cool down next week. But should we or should we not clip the dead stuff?
If you see things that are absolutely brown and dead and crispy, you can definitely trim that back.
Okay.
Because then it could become a hazard. You don't want that limb to fall. But otherwise, I would say save your pruning and your shaping for later when we actually get some rain. The same is to be said with fertilizing. I would like our clients to hold off on fertilizing for a couple more weeks. Let's get some rain in there first. Fertilizer actually promotes growth quickly, and I equate it to like running a marathon with a really bad hangover. Even if you've trained for that marathon, you're going to feel terrible doing it.
It's going to be awful.
We're too stressed. So our plants, our trees, our shrubs, everything is too stressed right now. So let's just baby them a little bit longer and hope that we get some good rain in. And then we can fertilize, shape, and prune.
Okay. And it is possible to still have a nice garden. I mean, you said you brought some of this stuff in. You have some elevated stuff going on. And this stuff can thrive in the heat?
Absolutely. So if we focus on like Texas natives, things like Esperanza, look at this. This thrives in the heat.
Really pretty.
Zinnia, this is a cut flower, but look at that. Zinnia. We have our milkweed. We have Mexican heather, we have Texas sage, we have some salvia here, and this is a pineapple guava. Look at how healthy these leaves are.
They look so gorgeous.
They're beautiful.
They're waxy,
Yeah, so things can still thrive in this heat. This is a good lesson for all of us, because going forward, Now we know what we're going to plant in the spring so that if this happens again, we'll be better prepared.
And after the break, we are going to get more into what to plant this fall. In the meantime, just circling back to the trees, though, are there any signs of stress that we should be looking out for? Because again, right now, people might be wondering, we're under these water restrictions.
Yeah.
And there's certain times and days of the week we cannot water.
Right.
So early morning or evenings, if it's your day to water.
Yes.
But also, when's it time to actually realize something is dead and move on? Is there always hope, Jen?
There is, well, there's hope unless it's brown and crispy, and then
Okay.
you're probably, it's toast.
Okay.
But I would say if you see some green leaves like this you can tell by the stem because it's still green, it's still healthy.
Right.
So you are going to lose some leaves. Plants are struggling, but they're not all the way dead yet.
Okay.
So as long as it's not all the way brown and crispy, you're still okay.
Okay.
There's that glimmer of hope.
There is a glimmer of hope.
Yes.
Keep your fingers crossed, people. Well, listen, after the break, Jen is giving her advice on when to plant and what to plant in your
Perfect.
fall gardens.
Houston Life will be right back. We are back on Houston Life with Jen McDonald, co-owner of Garden Girls, which is a local garden design and installation company.
Yes. Okay. So, Jen, we are supposed to be receiving rain soon. We'll keep our
Yes.
fingers crossed for that. But people can actually start planting things right now. You have examples of things people can plant right now and then in a few weeks once it
Yes.
finally cools down.
So that's correct. The only thing we're going to do first is buy our shade cloth. This is from Amazon. We have a link to it in our Instagram, in our bio as well. But you definitely need to use some shade cloth if you are going to plant vegetables.
Why?
Oh.
Why?
Well, this is going to block about 55% of the sun, so it's not
Okay.
going to hit the plants directly.
Oh, so this is going around. I thought we were
Yes.
putting this in the dirt. Okay, I'm not kidding. I am so
it's-
brand new.
no.
I'm so brand new.
It's
Jerry.
okay. It's
I
okay.
love it.
Okay.
This is what we're teaching you.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so this goes around so we don't get that char on
It would
the
essentially
leaves
go
and stuff.
above like
Yes.
this, right?
Oh,
And you
okay.
can even wrap it around your little tender tomato plants. Use some stakes, and I use clothespins.
Oh, okay.
Just
Okay.
anchor it up above on my arches.
There you go. But we don't put it directly on top of the plants.
Right.
We would want to suspend it in some sort of.
Yeah, give it
Okay.
a little bit of space. It also helps for pests too, so that's nice.
Okay.
But right now we are planting. So if you do want to plant, first thing is you have to plant in the early morning or in the late in the evening.
Okay.
Okay, it's just going to stress the plants if you do it in the daytime. But next to Derek, we have this is a beautiful cherry tomato. It's
tomato
an
plant.
indeterminate tomato. It's going to be
that.
the smaller variety.
Okay.
I love
That
those.
can
Those
go
are
in
such
now.
good snacks. I love it.
And they smell so good, too.
Yes.
I know, they're delicious. And then, of course, this is a companion plant for tomatoes, basil, sweet
Okay.
basil.
Oh, okay.
And these other
that.
items, peppers, arugula, cucumber, by seed, this, Jen, I'm so glad you're talking about this because planting by seed is a lot less expensive.
You're
more
right.
Inexpensive.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun. If you have kids, it's much more fun to plant things by seed and then check on it daily. You're also going to have to hand water. If you plant by seed, we want you to be out there every morning. Give it some hand watering just
Okay.
to make sure that those seeds can germinate.
Okay. The fact that the basil is a partner plant with the tomato for caprese salads is
Oh, yeah.
everything that I need to know to start a garden. But you also have a bunch of other herbs, and these make great gifts when they finally start overgrowing and stuff.
Absolutely.
How long
yes.
do you have to wait, truly, if you are planting your herbs?
Okay, so if you're planting herbs, this is oregano. You can start using this today.
Oh, wow.
Literally, you just give it a little haircut like you're trimming your bangs.
Okay.
You can
Toss
use
it in
all
your
of these
cooking.
herbs right away, especially the basil is ready to go.
And if you're planting by seed, Jen, about how long until
Mm.
those seeds germinate and can produce a crop to harvest?
So germination probably takes between a week and 10 days. You'll start to see some sprouts. But I would say if you start with a transplanted plant, you're going to have a lot more happiness because you'll be able to use it sooner.
That's true.
But things
Yes.
like arugula, that's a quick germination. So you can start using that in your salads within like 30 days.
Can I
Wow.
tell you, Jen, last time you were on Houston Life, you gave me some seeds. I don't know what they are. They were growing like crazy.
Magic bean
They are
stuff.
growing. It is like a beanstalk. I'm going to take a picture later and send it to you so you can help me figure out the mystery. When people are planting at home, too, even if you don't have a yard, these are great for container gardening. If you live in an
Yes.
apartment,
Okay.
even if you have a small outdoor space, all of these herbs, even tomatoes, you can plant in a container, right?
Absolutely, 100%. And the good thing about planting in a container is you usually get a little bit more shade because you can move it around.
Right.
Herbs only need like 4 hours of sunlight per day. So
Okay.
if you have those on a front porch or a balcony or a container garden, that is just fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're seeing right now what to plant in a few weeks. You got cilantro, you got broccoli, cabbage. If you hold your horses
Yes.
and just wait a few weeks, then you can plant these and they will, like right now, it's a little too hot for these things.
It's a little too hot.
Okay.
Cilantro will bolt, but I brought some to show you, and you can put it on a windowsill right now.
I can't get enough of
beautiful.
Go
cilantro.
crazy.
They
Yes.
look pretty as well. Okay, we noticed this ornate hummingbird
Gorgeous.
feeder you have, Jen.
This is also courtesy of Amazon. And this is great because the hummingbirds are migrating right now. So they are making their journey to Central America and Mexico for the winter. And I'm telling you, every morning we have like 20 hummingbirds.
Oh
out with our
my
feeders.
gosh.
Look at
This is actually
this.
our feeder. And it's so fun to watch, but they really do need fresh nectar every day. So
Okay.
you can make it at home. All you need is 4 parts of water, 1 part sugar. Let it boil. The sugar's going to dissolve, and then let it cool and fill your containers once a week.
So a diluted
Wow.
simple syrup, essentially. And hummingbirds are so magical.
It's the brag of the neighborhood when the hummingbirds are hanging out at your place.
They're all going to Tessa's house, those hummingbirds.
No,
Yes, good.
okay. I'll make them their simple syrup.
That's
I was gonna
it.
Put it in my
That's
cocktail.
it.
Jen McDonald, it's great to see you. Garden Girls, they can always answer all your questions. We still need to replace that dead tree at my
Let's
house,
do it, but
too.
not
We're
yet.
gonna do-
Not
Not
yet.
yet, when it
Yes.
cools off.
Good plan.
Garden Girls, they're the best. Jen McDonald, we love you. It's great to see you. If you'd like to connect with Jen or Garden Girls, we have shared a link on the Scene on Houston Life section of our website, houstonlife.tv.